Well, good morning, afternoon, evening, traders, wherever you are. It's 7:06 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's sometime. It's 13:06 in London, and it is 21:06 here in Southeast Asia. So we got about an hour and a half before the open, the cash open or regular trading hours open. I tested the audio on that earlier stream for Asia. That seems to be back in business. I'm not sure what I did wrong, but something. Anyway, not to worry. Looks like our London traders did their little pullback to VWAP kind of early. Generally, that happens within the last hour. Of course, it could still happen again, but no sooner did I say that and sign off the stream than it pulled down. So we'll see where we are. Basically, just a consolidation chop zone here. What's the big picture? So we're pretty much risk on the indices. Settles 13,394 on the NASDAQ. We're currently trading 13,447, just a little above settle. Financials are obviously risk on, and the money's moving out of financials, which would be completely expected. What's happening with the currencies here? Dollar index is a little bit up, kind of mixed. I'd say generally it's to the downside. What's crude doing? Well, crude oil is up. Settles 55.69, so little under settle here. Oh, I'm sorry, over. I'm looking at the open. And what's gold up to? Oh, and how about that big silver short that everybody was so excited about? That short crease that everybody was so excited about. Doesn't look like they're getting too far there. It's negative 80%, so 0.80%. So silver is doesn't look like it's making anybody happy on the long side there for that squeeze idea. All right, daily NASDAQ, and there we are. Looks to me, certainly wouldn't be a surprise to see a new all-time high to the 600 round number. Tried to, didn't get there. Tried to, didn't get there. Who knows what they're going to do here? Generally, pretty obviously, an uptrend. Structure has really not been broken. You could argue that this tested lower, but we've been higher highs and higher lows for quite some time, back since before the turn of the year. Yeah. Really? No, not quite that far back. Yeah, back September. So it wouldn't be surprising at all to see a new high here. And they're sure as hell testing the top of this 5-minute NASDAQ market here. Looking like they might want to put in a high just to challenge the regular traders, regular trade horse. There we go. They're going to bust out of that. They didn't get really much of a pop out of there for all the stops that have been accumulating up there looking for the short, I wouldn't think. You stop and think about all the... There we go. There we go. So they pop it to the upside. Buyers came in there. I'm not sure how much faith I put in this Tradovate news flow, or whatever you call it, news alerts, something. But it is a heads up, I guess. If I'm not mistaken, tomorrow is non-farm payroll, so there should be that pre-number out today. I've talked many times, but I feel kind of responsible to do that each stream in case there's a new viewer or someone new listening to this. The purpose of the stream is essentially my virtual trade log, trading journal, and my narrative is for my, a window into what I was thinking at the time. Look at this tomorrow, look at this tonight, look at this next year, and I'll know what I was thinking and why. My goal is my business model is not to be an internet star or a YouTube star. It's to be a consistently profitable trader. But if along the way what I do or what I share or my thoughts are helpful to someone else, that would be great. That's a double win from my point of view. And I would love to see this community grow and become an interactive community of similarly thinking traders. I'm obviously not a licensed anything to do with trading. My opinions are strictly my own. Nothing here is trade advice. There is a delay between what I do and that's implied by YouTube. It has nothing to do with me, but there is a delay. So trying to copy trades or follow the trades could prove disastrous, just like if your data was off by 15 seconds or something like that. You could be asking for trouble. So definitely I wouldn't suggest doing that. Also, past results have no, however that goes, are not indicative of, past results are not indicative of future results or whatever that saying is. And there's a disclaimer on the, if you read more on the video. So they're trying to push it here a little bit. Bless their little hearts. This is the NASDAQ 20 period range chart. This is the NASDAQ in a 5 minutes when we go to the regular trading hours of the cash. Switch to the TPO chart here, the market profile with the volume profile attached. And this is the ES 5 minute. The Jigsaw dome. There you have it. There are no indicators. This is VWAP. Sigma 1, Sigma 2, up there, Sigma 3, Sigma 1, Sigma 2. Let's get this. There they are, Sigma 1, 2, and 3, both directions. That's the standard deviation from VWAP. No other indicators. This is cumulative delta, and this is relative volume. Same thing on the other two charts. I try to keep these grids at 10 points. That gives me the ability to see a little bit more backwards on the charting here, historical, and also a little cleaner view, I think. There you have it. We'll be trading with brackets. Yesterday was kind of painful. This is set up for 2 lots, and we have 32 tick stop for both, or 8 points, a 30 tick profit and a 40 tick profit. Straight up stop, no break evens. I've used a break even. Might think of that here. See how this works in the beginning, and then I may go back to another bracket which I have used quite successfully. It's smaller size for more of a scalp, where you basically have you get to a specific, say you get to 20 ticks, and then your break even will go up to 19 ticks, so that you either get your profit target, or you get a minimum of whatever you have that break even increment set to. I'll go with that if I get there. I can set various different brackets also in Jigsaw, but it doesn't have break even, and it does have trailing, but it doesn't have break even and stuff like that. So what I find lately I've been doing is I will put in the order with the brackets here, which are pretty easy to manage, and they automatically show up all the positions and everything on the Jigsaw dome, and I can move them around however I feel like it on either, or if I put an order on Jigsaw, it shows up over here on the charting also on Tradovate. I'm trading a TopStep trader. I guess they're just called TopStep now. $50,000 combine in step 2. Got to get a profit target of 3,000, so that would be 53,000 up here. There's $1,000 daily drawdown limit, and in this step 2 there is a $1,000 weekly drawdown limit, which means that because I took a $630 loss yesterday, I only have the balance for a weekly trailing loss or loss limit today and tomorrow. This is Thursday. So those are things that you need to be mindful of. Tradovate does have a real handy tool if you don't trust yourself, or if you aren't particularly experienced, or again, you don't trust yourself. You can set the daily loss limit, weekly loss limit, trailing drawdowns, max position size, because in TopStep's case, there is a scaling plan. So until you, from zero profit to 1,500 and I think $1 profitability, you can only trade 2 contracts. With the $50,000 combine account, you can trade up to 5, but you can't trade at 5 at once until you get some profitability. This is in step 2 specifically. So you can trade, not sure if step 1, I forget if step 1 has a, I think it does, yes. Anyway, best that you trade conservatively. And step 2 is all about managing risk and managing your money management and account management. So if you think you might fat finger something stupid, or end up accidentally trying to manage your trades or trade off the chart and get too many contracts on, which is a real irritating way to get blown out of a contract count, you can take care of that over here on Tradovate only. Combine, that's the word I was looking for. All I could think of was a count. So it's 9:21 or 21:21 local here. So what are we going to do? Oh, and I forgot on my charts is the volume profile. For the Globex, there was only the profile itself with the value area highlighted by the lighter gray and the POC. In the regular trading hours, the value area high, value area high, value area low, and POC. And the colors this is so irritating. The colors on the profile I've changed up just so I can, at a quick glance, if I see value area high and low lines and blues, I know I'm in a regular trading hours. I'm looking at a regular trading hours session as opposed to Globex. Obviously, I don't need to have those kind of identifiers for the active session, but if you're looking back historically, sometimes you can, it's just easy to be able to pick out where you are day-wise as opposed to trying to chase these stupid numbers up and down here. They used to, I always keep my computer on 24-hour time. I used to using that time. But on the new configuration of the charting, they use AM, PM, and I haven't figured out a way yet to reconfigure that. You would think they would pick up the formatting of the computer. I have brought that up to Tradovate. I'm sure it's way down their list of priorities. It would be mine. Some little nitpicky thing. So let's see what we're going to do here. Are these guys going to just kind of fluff around here for the next hour? I was sort of looking forward to that little more movement going into 10 o'clock. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. See if I see that other. I changed this around when I switched to the new. To the new charting, I eliminated a bunch of these. Yeah, this would be that. This would be that bracket. Now, this is set up for the way Tradovate works is if you have one, two, or a multiple of contracts, it will apply the same settings to all of them. So stop loss is 8 ticks, 32 ticks, Take profits 80. Profit trigger is 33. So once it gets to positive 33, it moves your stop to break even plus 32. So you're locked in. In other words, you've locked in 8 points. Now, it could continue to run to 80 ticks. But you've guaranteed yourself 32 or 8 ticks. And that break even stop setup used to work pretty good for me, actually. Similar idea. Take profit at 32, stop loss is 32, so you've got a 1-to-1, which isn't good. And you have a break even at 22 ticks, or 5.5 points, and the offset's 21. So that's how those scalping type brackets work. What I had originally, now don't be doing that. See what some of these are, I don't even remember anymore. 8032, that's what we're looking at earlier. So in other words, this would, as an 8-point or a 32 tick stop loss, when market gets to 33 ticks positive, your stop moves to positive 32. So in other words, you've locked in 8 points. Now it can run all the way to 80 ticks, and there's no trailing or anything. You've got to manage that yourself. But that's, I'm thinking that I'm going to get back to using these profit triggers after that episode last night, because that really irritated me, that slippage. We'll see. We'll see. And this is where we were with 2 lots. They 32 or 32 tick stop loss. Take profit at plus 30 and plus 40. And straight up stops. Now you could do something like have this one break even, so that when you get to 32, when this triggers, when you've made that target, this comes to break even plus something and runs to your stop. This is stuff that I have to stop and give some thoughts to, and back test to just see if how those kind of, I have a real, I want to get a Monte Carlo set up or a good back testing. I have a TradeStation account, and TradeStation's pretty good for back testing. I may go over there and try this out, because I have a big question in my mind. There's so many so many people with so many different ideas, and I don't mean just people on YouTube. I mean people that I believe do have some experience, trade live, professional traders, whatever. Don't move your stops. Don't use break even. You know, some people say do, some people say scale out. So I kind of think the idea of, if you scale out, the problem is your original risk is 16 points or 64 ticks. You have to think about your risk reward. I'll get that tool back up that is used in the tape 1 or part 1 of the Holy Grail video, which I've posted up. The second will be this weekend. I hope I'll have time. There's a tool there that I built and use, Excel tool that you can do a lot of what if stuff and I'll work with that. So overnight inventory is essentially was short, pretty much. Now they're bringing it back up, and they've just been chopping it right up and down the POC there. Something that's really important to note, however, is we are smack dab in the middle, heading up to the POC from yesterday's regular trading hours, and we're smack dab in the middle of the value area. So highly likely possibility that we just have a choppy damn day. A better way to see that is right here. This line, this is only regular trading hour. This is the market profile, and this is the volume profile for this session, which was yesterday's regular trading hours. However, this line is where we're trading right now, and this is the volume profile for our Globex. You'll notice it's the same as over here. Look at that, smack dab. We're right in the middle of that session. We're almost exactly in the middle of the session before. So, you know, a lot of indecision right now, a lot of coiling up, a lot of energy being stored up for a move. My guess would be, and that's just a guess, because as everybody hopefully knows, there is a 50-50 possibility on the very next trade. You have no idea of the outcome. It's 50-50. It will go up or it will go down. You don't know that. You can backtest for 200 years and have something that shows you a 90% win rate or edge historically, but the very next trade tonight in 5 minutes, if I take a trade, the probability of that next trade is 50-50, regardless of how much backtesting you did, because that is historical data. That's a fixed data set, and the very next trade is not part of that data set. So that's something that you really have to get your head around. And once you accept that, it makes the game a lot more relaxing, because it's not about being right. You want to try to come up with an edge which gives you some advantage, sure. But in the end, it's 50-50. And I do an experiment with a coin flip. That I'll do a video on, but it's very simple. It's just you pull up a market. You have a market like this. Obviously, I would suggest doing it in Sim. You set up a bracket so that it's absolutely fixed. It's hands off. And this will give you a good way to test your brackets also. You set up a bracket, as I was just looking at, where you have a stop and you have profit target. And then there can be different configuration, 1 contract, 2 contracts, whatever it is you want to do. And you flip a coin. If it's heads, you enter the market with a buy market order. If it's tails, you enter the market with a sell market order. You sit there and watch it until it closes, either win or lose or part and part, depending on if you have multiple contracts. And when that trade is over and you're flat, you flip the coin, you do it again. You do that for a minimum of 30, preferably around 50 to 60 times, and you'll be flabbergasted at how good your win rate, or percentage win rate, can be with an absolutely random coin toss. Really astounding. Really astounding. So let's see what's happening now. They're getting ready to start doing the jiggle, are they? Right back to POC. Absolutely overlapping just a teeny weeny bit higher. This is the top of value area, and this is the top of the value area the day before. What's that, one tick? Couple ticks? Wow. Pretty much of a chop fest here. So I think that I will, unless something starts to happen dramatically, like they start their usual move down towards VWAP again, like they do often, I will be participating in this market after the open of regular trading with the cash, which will be in another hour or less than an hour, 50 some minutes, 53 minutes. This is the TopStep Trader Inner Economic Calendar. You got the unemployment. I thought that was non-farm tomorrow. Maybe that's what they call it. I find this calendar of theirs to be less than sufficient. And in the funded trading program, you can't be live for various news events, and they're listed on the website, and yet they're not reflected in this calendar, which I find a little strange. However, it could be that I'm not in that funded program, and there may be a calendar that's fully vetted and up to speed. But I find this one a little limp, actually. What else we got to look at here? This is the dashboard for this account. It's step 2. And there's my famous day yesterday. It was 6:30 plus the commissions. That just irritates me to no end. Had a nice move going there, and here we are. You'll notice that there's a difference here on the minimum balance, trailing minimum balance, and this is max trailing drawdown. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, this thing, sometimes. I wonder if that's really... Anyway, here's the target. There's your daily loss limit. There's your weekly daily loss limit. So 330. I only have a daily loss limit today and tomorrow of 330, unless I, because I have lost yesterday 664. So that's one of the TopStep rules. It's pretty constraining, I would say. But hey, it's their money, so it's their ball, their bet. And after you get funded, first $5,000 is yours. Then it's 80-20 split with you getting 80 and they get 20. You can trade up to 5 contracts. There's no limit on withdrawals. You don't have to wait 3 months. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. All that hocus pocus. They are they are a registered U.S. company. The money's in the U.S. There's a lot of things. I'll go into maybe a video at some point about the differences in the funding companies and why I think TopStep is probably still the best. And it's my choice, and I'm in it now, so I'm certainly not going to go the other way. And you see, I don't let your account balance go below 49,313. So this doesn't, yeah, there we go. This one here, looks a little strange to me. I think that's kind of a misnomer, the minimum balance. The minimum balance, if I read English, and it's my first language, is 4913. Count balance go below, that's minimum balance. That would be this dashed line, as opposed to trailing max drawdown. That's a little confusing, I think, but what I believe happens here is, what I understand is that as you get up to your profit target, and then once you become funded, this will go up to your 53,000 and it won't go any higher. It doesn't keep following you up, trailing you, right? This minimum balance here, in my opinion, should be here, right? So this doesn't make exactly a whole lot of sense, but unless this is including the weekly drawdown, that would be about the right numbers. Anyway, what's going on over here where it matters? So we've got about 45 minutes here. Everything looks apparently healthy on the stream. That's good news. I see the audio seems to be working as expected. So disappointed yesterday. Just a bad day all the way. I mean, on top, I lose. You take a loss on 2 trades for $600, and then you go to review the trades to see exactly what your thinking was and watch what's going on, and the damn audio didn't work. It's like ridiculous. Just that was a classic example of I should have gone to bed. Forcing the trades when I shouldn't have. Didn't feel like it. I even commented early in the stream, I remember, that since I was getting in there late, I didn't feel quite like I was in sync with the market, blah, 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 blah. And then what did I do? I tried 2 trades and market presented me with my ass, and that was the end of it. I went to bed. I mean, losses are part of trading, and that's certainly not a surprise or anything that I'm particularly overstressed about. And that's one of the great parts about a funded trader account like TopStep. This is their money. Right now, it's a sim, right? I'm trying to get to $53,000, and then I will get a funded account for $50,000. Okay. And I've traded whatever it said on there, 3 days or something in this step 2. Yesterday, when I went into it, this was at 51,400 or 3 and change. And then Lost after that loss, we're back down to 56.48, 50,648, and but the point of you're using somebody else's money. They are assuming all of the risk. The only thing that can happen to you financially is that you don't have a funded account, and you've only lost the $165 or whichever combine you choose monthly fee until you're funded, and then that fee goes away and you don't pay it anymore. So if you're trading, and let's say you make $10,000 a month and you withdraw 5 or 6 every month to your personal account, you do that a couple of 3 months, you've got what, 20,000. Let's say you take out $20,000. Something happens and you blow up the account. You've only lost the money that's in the account. TopStep eats the loss. So it's pretty much of a win-win the way I see it. And another thing that I like about it is, as opposed to, for example, the Forex market, they are 100% in your court to survive because they make 20%. I mean, they're your partner. They're not trading against you. That's the problem with Forex. There's no central market. And those guys, those Forex shops are pretty much bucket shops, and they trade against you. They take the other side of your trade. That's not any good for me. So that's why I think the funded account is such a good idea, even if you have a lot of money. Why put your money at risk when you can put someone else's? Only makes sense to me. So here we sit. Now I was quite curious. I had 2 or 3 good days there, and that was getting up to within a couple of $100 of adding another couple of contracts, adding another contract. And that second trade yesterday just irritated me, as I mentioned when looking at it. It's you see the bracket, and the stop on both contracts is 32 ticks, which is 8 points. That second trade stopped out 10 points on both trades. So 2 full handles of slippage, 2 full points of slippage. That's pretty disappointing. Pretty disappointing. And it was still find that I find that curious, because it was it was after midnight my time, so it would have been about 10 o'clock Central. Market's been open for an hour and a half. It's not like you're right in the high volatility of the market with some real fast moves. It's nothing exciting, nothing really big going on. Anyway, it is what it is. And again, that was not money out of my pocket. So pretty much only upside here. ES is just fuffling along. NQ, same story. This is 5-minute MQ. Okay. I'm going to step away here for a bio break and get some water. I'll be back in a flash. Okay. I'll try to put together a video this weekend of the build of this trading PC, just for those of you who might be passing by and interested in doing one of these yourself. It seems to be working out quite well. I've got a 570X X570 Aorus Master motherboard, a Asus GeForce RTX 2060 8GB graphics card, a Ryzen 9 3900X processor, which is, I believe, 12 core and 24 thread, and a Asus, whatever that, never can remember, the NVMe Gen 4 copper-clad hard drive drives, and then a 64 gigs of 32 megahertz Corsair Vengeance RAM, and a 750 RM 750 watt modular Corsair power supply. Seems to be working out pretty well. I have it in a Leland case, which I bought. Couldn't find the one I wanted exactly, but this seems to be working out pretty well. It was an easy build. Took me just a short time to put it together, and the only software that I have on that machine is Windows 10, the streaming software, and the Tradovate platform, and the Jigsaw platform. This, by the way, is a Tradovate desktop platform. This is not the web browser version. I find this a little more stable. Seems to me anyway, maybe it's just my imagination, than the web version. So that's why you'll notice that this over here says Tradovate. If you're on the web version, which is fine, it will say TST Trader, if that's how you're logged in. A couple other little things different, but I just find this one just seems to work out okay. But I'm real pleased with the PC. It was a real simple build. Took my daughter and I, my 13-year-old stepdaughter helped me, and we slapped it together in short order. And I have one of the no, don't fall down here, things. I've got a one of the LG Pro X headsets, and I'm currently using that mic still. I'm going to get a Shure 7MB or whatever the hell the number is. I think it'll give a little better quality for the audio, and I can leave this headset on my other machine, which I use for my other endeavors. It's a Dell workstation. For monitors, I have a couple of Dell 24-inch high defs that are kind of older, and then I have a 40-inch 4K, which is my primary monitor, and that's what is running the Jigsaw and the Tradovate stream at the moment. So that's being pulled down off 40-inch 4K, and then I'm outputting at 1440p 16 frames per minute. So hopefully that gets on my computers when I open it up and look at it when I'm reviewing. The point of this channel is my trading log, as I've said so many times in my trading journal. I can see all the numbers quite clearly, and it looks pretty much the same as it does right now live. And I hope that it's a similar experience for people that are viewing it live and or reviewing it from the channel, trying to get the highest quality, clearest video, and clearest audio, just to make it an enjoyable experience for everyone. Okay, 2 minutes to the top of the hour. Got that typical consolidation going on there. Things will start moving here momentarily, I would say. They usually start bouncing around a little bit, and volatility starts picking up. The book is already thickening a bit. We're 46, 49 by 38 over here. I can, with the Jigsaw Dome, will show the full depth of market if it's 100 up and 100 down. However, with the CQG data feed from Tradovate, they only have 10 depth in the market, and also on Jigsaw, when you have it set for 10 or a number, you get the totals here, which is kind of, I find that interesting to look at, and a quick view tells me which side's stacked heavier than the other. And I might have just lied about the number of depth of market on the CQG. Looks like they're getting kind of starting to get a little nervous here at the top of the hour. I'll take a quick look. Market depth 10. Snapshot depth 6. Let's see what happens if we get, let's put 20 and see what happens here. I don't remember, to be honest with you. Now, see, Tradovate is only pushing out 10. So that's too bad. Now, if you get this on a rhythmic feed where they have the, I forget what the acronym for that is, but essentially you see the total book, and you can see, and it also shows the number of positions at that size. So you can see who has been sitting on the book. It's essentially the same data that you would be seeing on a Vista chart or a book map or one of those, where you can see how long the orders have been sitting at various levels. Jigsaw has right here a market vista, they call it, which is a similar heat map to book map. I don't really find it particularly helpful. I do pretty well just watching this, and Jigsaw is now also offering, they've now got some charting that you can put up, but it's still pretty rudimentary for what I want to do. And as you can see, I'm not very complicated here. I don't have a whole lot of spaghetti going on or fibs or any of that nonsense. I have just the VWAP and cumulative delta and relative volume. So it's pretty, and volume profile is quite important to me. So it's pretty basic, but I can't get all those charts to work properly yet with TopStep. I think probably Pete and the guys are spending more time on Analytics as another income stream. Now they've got $50 a month or something for the journalistics and the live Jigsaw Trading. Turn it on for live trading after you've you purchase and own the tools for life, but after if you want to trade live, that's another $50 a month. So figure out all the people he's got that own the tools, and you look at $100 a month at everybody, he's got to be making a fine income, and good for him. Now here's an interesting thing that you can do with Jigsaw that I also like. You see how there's a cumulative number here, so this is essentially the cumulative delta. This cumulative delta down here is simply that when right now you see how it's red, that means someone on the offer has reached across and hit the bid. That would be a downtick. When somebody lifts the offer from the buyer lifts the offer by reaching across, you get a green tick there, you get a green box. That's lifting the offer. So these negative ones haven't gone below, but this is a lifting. This is how the cumulative delta is essentially being charted. That's the theory. This is the book. This is pulling and stacking. So this shows you where offers are being added or removed at each level. And I've got it set at 6, if you recall, when we looked up there a minute ago. You could have it for 10, but frankly, it's usually moving so fast I can't see it anyway. And this is the amount of contracts that traded the last time price came through that level. So you see here there's 3, right? Now next time it trades there, that level will change. And if it gets back down, there you go. Change back to 1. You see? That's called a snapshot. And this is just the cumulative amount per side. And this is a typical volume profile like we got over here. Excuse me. Okay, so we're 6 minutes past the hour here, heading towards the open. Good thing I'm getting kind of drowsy. Hitting me this aircon all the time drives me out. I drink a hell of a lot of water. And I'm just enjoying the bottom end of my glass of wine from my dinner a while ago. So we're sitting here relaxed, focused. See what happens. See if we can participate with this market and take a bit of profit from it. ways up there. It's a ways up there. There's our VWAP showing up nicely. 24.5. Pretty close. You'll notice that the new Tradovate charting, when the when the regular trading hour open, the value area high, value area low, and POC lines used to extend all the way across on the legacy charts, which I got used to. They do not do so now. They will start building right here on top of these charts, top of this candle or this whatever you're looking at, bar, whatever, whichever it is, whatever you have in your charting package. It will just be on this right edge, the hard right edge. So it's a little bit confusing to me at first. I think it was the day before yesterday, or maybe it was yesterday morning. I didn't think that I was getting my data properly on Tradovate, and as I mentioned earlier, Jigsaw is rock solid. So, and real light and very accurate. So I know this is correct. And if I don't see similar price, similar movement, similar action on my charting, then I suspect the charting. But I was wrong. It was just that the little teeny yellow line there and down there, and it was in a very narrow range. So I opened up the spread, and then as the next bar started to form, it was apparent that it was my problem, not the trading software, not Tradovate. But it was a little hard to see. And I was used to previously in the legacies, there'd just be a yellow line all the way across so you could see right away where you were. As an experiment here, I'm going to play with this account risk stuff a little bit. Max permission size. Well, 2. Oh, I got to enable it again. What's going on here? Select an account. Okay, so what's up? Why can't I do anything here? Maybe it's because it's already preset, because it's a TopStep. I'm sure that's it. Because this is a TopStep combine, these are preset in the background. That's undoubtedly what it is, because you can't select the account. You can't do anything. Oh, well, good. A nice idea while a nice idea while it lasted. Stupid. I was thinking that was quite a nice feature. You could put in those contract size and not have any problems there. Once before, I was using my keyboard, which is how I used to trade a lot, and I was more scalping, and I was trying to scalping around a position, and the period of time between one contract closed and another contract opened, turned out I had 3 contracts on instead of, one contract more than the allowed amount. I don't remember, it was 3 or 4 or whatever it was, but and that busts you. You don't see it immediately in the session, but when you go to your combine, you'll see when you go to your dashboard, you'll see a red check box there that says a rule was broken or something. So I was thinking that being able to set your, if you've got it, like for example, because I lost that 600 and change yesterday, I only have about 330, I guess, trailing daily loss limit. before the account's busted. So if I could go over here and set that in at 100, 100 ticks or 100 ringgit or 200 or something like that, well, then I should have protection. Actually, I kind of find that's too bad they do that, actually. I think that would be a good feature to have activated. You do have up here your margin and stuff. You can see what's going on. I'm come to think about it, I believe that on the desktop version with TopStep Combine, you don't see this as you do on the. Maybe I'll have to look. We'll see when we get into the trade here. It starts out green over here, starts getting yellow, and then red, and then boom, and gives you a percentage. Definitely does that on the browser based. Frankly, I'm not looking at it too much. I'm generally focused on the dome and the charting. So again, highly likely that I won't trade because let's see what this looks like. Oh, that looks stupid. Just on top, almost identical. Last two trading sessions. So we are definitely, and here's where we're trading right now. So we are definitely in range, in value, in everything else. Whether there'll be any opportunities present themselves or not shall remain to be seen. If you're not familiar with the market profile, that's what these are. They're 30-minute brackets, and they're designated by a letter. And as price trades back and forth through them, it builds these letters, and that's how you get the profile. You'll see that we have a weak low here. M&N period could not put any excess. You'll notice that we have excess on the top side. So this is a selling tail. There's no buying tail, or other way around, selling tail. And this is a buying tail. So there's no excess there. Chances are very, very likely to trade down and fix that or repair that problem. The market doesn't like to leave unexplored prices in the auction. Another thing to watch out for today that I will be mindful of, we're just a hop, skip, and a jump to an all-time high, and we've tested that 3 times in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. So, little bit of a pullback, back up here to the highs again. Structure is still unbroken, up, higher highs, higher lows. Very good possibility we'll take a run for the roses there. Wouldn't surprise me at all. This does bother me a bit, except you can sort of think of this as consolidation, building energy. Now they could be starting their move to VWAP, which often happens around this time of day, just before they open. Yep. I'm a little hesitant to participate in that because of this chop zone that's gone on here, and it was just tested out a couple hours ago. Kind of a head fake there. Ooh, the ES. No, there they go. And the ES is breaking off here. So there we go, down to our pretty close to our VWAP. Okay. So, traders, hook in and hang on here. We've got about 10 minutes to the open. And we'll have to see just how they deal with this. Just how they deal with this. Market is definitely balanced. Smack dab on our, well, that's the mid of the previous. POC. And over here, we can see the value area high, low. These grayish, bluish, whatever the hell their color they are. This is the range of the session. I find that to be quite helpful. So you can see the regular trading hours low, value area low, POC, value area high, and range high of the regular trading session yesterday. And we're smack dab just banging up and down in the middle here of value, middle of range, just off the close, not very far, 10, 20 ticks. So could be a balanced, choppy affair here today. And I have to be very, very risk aware because I have very little room to play. Oh, I'm to think about it. Boy, am I glad I said that. I cannot trade 2 contracts with this bracket. Why do I say that? Because this is 32 ticks or 8 points. This is 32 ticks or 8 points. So that's 16 points, and each point is 20 bucks. So that's $360. And that would bust my account because I don't believe I have, after the loss yesterday. Let's just see how that works out. Wait a second here. What do we have here? 648. 660. What was that one? 670. Yeah, I have $330 of weekly margin limit or weekly drawdown. So if I stopped on 2 contracts, tilt, this is that I would have busted this combine and need to pay another reset, which is 95 bucks. And that's not the point. The point is the idea is risk management, right? So the last thing I want to do is that. So if I throw this one on, essentially the same, 32, it's got, only it has 32 ticks of profit, 32 loss, except that it has, when we get to 22 ticks in the profit, which is 5 points, 2 ticks, it will bring the stop loss up to 21 ticks or 5 1/4 points and lock in that 5 points. Now, what we may want to do here is give ourselves some more headroom on the take profit. Let's say we go to 10. It's still not a, whoops, what am I doing here? 40. That's, so that's 40. And this doesn't change. And maybe there's a slick way of doing that, but I can't figure out a way to edit the damn thing. You got to create a new one and delete it as near as I can figure. I wish you could just click on it and change those numbers around, or I would come up with a clever way of naming them that I could, that wouldn't confuse me or that would be clear to me. You know, this was fairly clear. It was an end cube, so I know what I'm talking about for trading, and it's 32, 32, and break even at 20. Now this could possibly make us $100. So glad we thought of that. We want to get Jigsaw, something with Jigsaw. If you're going to keyboard on Jigsaw, you've got to have it activated. You notice how this became live. Now I can keyboard those numbers, but I couldn't really remember what the keyboard, the shortcut was there, and I didn't want to enter a trade with the wrong contract. It should be. I've got Jigsaw set up with using the number pad, Control and Alt, and I have, unfortunately, I have to have the other the Tradovate set up with different hotkeys. So I'm going to see if I can't consolidate those to the same, because that's, you know, everything you can do to make your life simpler when you're trading, the mechanical bits, better off you are. Fat fingers, errors. If you can have positive expectancy and a reasonably good win rate, at least 1.5 to 1 or 2 to 1, and eliminate the errors, you will achieve your goal. Pretty simple. Something you can do with Tradovate that's kind of interesting is, like, you want to see where your bracket looks like. That's what my bracket would look like for a long trade. So I can see where my stop would be and my take profit would be, or vice versa for a short. That's kind of handy, I find. I'm not sure that we need those trade lines on. Yeah, maybe not so bad. We'll see what happens. Three minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, and they're starting to get a little jumpy over here. Book isn't thickening up particularly. Kind of surprising. We had basically these same numbers. This is what, 49 by 27, 28. That's kind of light on the tops on the offers. We had those kind of numbers earlier in the Globex here, bigger, 40s and 50s. So that's a thin book. You have to remember that how easy it is to move this market when you're looking at 4 or 5 ticks contracts here can move 2 or 3 levels, through 2 or 3 levels in the book. Doesn't take a guy with very deep pockets to sweep the book. You're talking 40 contracts, I mean, with a $150 TopStep account, you can trade 15 contracts. So, you're going to sweep half the book on the offer. Here we go. Good luck. Center yourself. Remember that controlling your risk is the key, and your object is to be able to trade tomorrow. Just as I realized I needed to adjust my trade size and my account size, it probably could be, and we'll see what happens here, it could be prudent to switch to micros. That could be a prudent way. My thinking at this point, with where I stand now, is to just be extremely careful with what I think about my trade position and there we go. Now you'll see that we're open over here just a little bit ahead on Jigsaw, and now you can see how the volume area is starting to build. And if we want to, we can turn off that profile, and we start to see where our value area stuff is. What I need to do now, actually, that we have a good profile working. No. Go away. I need to remove the second volume profile. That's what is drawing our first volume profile with our POC chart. You see, now we're getting now that's been switched over. The Globex is switched to the other side, and we have our value area and our volume profile building for today's session. And if we turn on our daily profile, now we get a gray profile in the background of what our Globex was. And here they go. They're off to the races here. Are they off to the races? We're through POC from yesterday. That's pretty stupid looking there. What's going on here now? There we go. That's not right. Is it? Yeah, I guess it is. Oh, yeah. So here's our profile building right on top of this reddish bar here is the value area, or the POC from yesterday. Now you see that one thing about Jigsaw is it recalculates the VWAP from the reset of the session, as opposed to reset of the day on Tradovate. And I'm not sure exactly what I like and how I want to balance that out. VWAP is something that's quite important to me. So that's something I still haven't worked out with the charting. Frankly, this ain't right. There we are. A period, the first 30 minutes or so is the opening range. Then we have 1 sigma above and below, and then 2 sigma, 1.5 above and below that. So we're coming down to what I would consider to be VWAP. It's kind of irritating. Why is it doing that? I guess it's just so small. And ironically, we've got a bust to the top side on the ES, so they are diverged a little bit there. Good sell-off on the NASDAQ. Wow. Quite a smack there on the NASDAQ, huh? Try to get a feeling for what kind of traders you're up against by the reaction to these visual references. Value area low, POC, that kind of thing. Normally, if we get back into the value area here with some conviction, we ought to trade across that. It's awfully early in the trading session, however, and we're down near the lows. Value area low from yesterday's RTH. I think in this VWAP and volume area here, we're going to get up here, which we are there now. Snooze lows. We've traded across the value area to the downside, and now we're heading back down there again. We haven't tested the top side yet, and I'm still looking at if they've got some idea about repairing this week low. That could definitely be on somebody's mind. Remember that the blue is the value area, the lighter blue is the RTH profile, and this gray in the background is a histogram from the Globex. So what do we got going on here so far since the open? We popped up and we pretty much got a downtrend. Do. That's the bigger picture that I should have been looking at. Little consolidation here. Let's see which way they want to go. Off the value area low, the POC is now pulled down. Chances would be good that we would trade across that again to the upside. Let's see if we, but that's taking us right to the top of our trading range here. Yeah, I'm afraid that That's what I did yesterday, actually. I was looking for that move across value, and really they were just following the trading range, and I longed the top, and got spanked. So I'm not going to try to do that again today, especially with this. Wish they had that graphically displayed. That's kind of irritating. And there we are. Pull back to VWAP. Let's see what we get here. Now this one will have the break-even part on it. You should see it. There we go. So that's how that bracket works. 115 bucks, better than a sharp stick in the eye. So if you notice that bracket, how that bracket worked when we got to our 5 points and change, the stop moved up to that point, locking that in. So we had at minimum that amount of profitability in the trade. And if I can make this thing work right here, it's so close to the edge, I can't get the little, oh yeah, they've changed the color. Huh. Used to be white. So there's $115 and 6 points. So we didn't get our profit target, obviously, and we did get the reversal off the value area high. But that's a little scalping bracket, which, good way to wiggle here. Now we've got 115 more dollars in our kitty. So that's now 400 something. Now that's a good question. The weekly loss limit. Okay, the daily loss limit is pretty damn simple. But I wonder if the weekly, for example, I just made $115. Now, does that contribute? Does that reduce the weekly loss by $115, therefore increasing my weekly loss limit? Or is my weekly loss limit fixed until the week's over? That is worthy of a question. That's worthy of an email. If you see where I'm going here. So if, for example, I have 300 and change loss limit. Now I just made 115 bucks. Let's say I made 15,000, 11,500. Okay. But the next trade I lose 350. Does that mean that the account is blown up because the cumulative weekly loss limit has been hit at 1,000 within the week, even though the profitability is substantially higher by, in this case it isn't, but it could be. I could have made $630 on that trade, and had I taken the short, I'd have been close. It made $630, which would have meant that would have completely repaid the loss limit from yesterday. But does that negate the loss of yesterday and reset the weekly loss limit? That's something I've got to find out. So we've traded across our value area twice, essentially. There's our test. There we go across. Here's me being late on the draw. And then we trade all the way back down the other way. So they're liking that trading range concept some more. Sellers definitely had this one. There was a much more gradual sell-off than that climb to the top, which is kind of contrary to normal. Usually they go up the stairs and down the elevator or jump out the window, however that saying goes. So we took zero heat on this trade. We could have risked the 2 lots if we were stupid, and we would be up 100, well, 6, 12, $212 as opposed to 115. But we would have been not properly managing our risk in context with the weekly drawdown. Let me see if there's anything about that in the TopStep trader Hooly Bob over here. If you find some value here or share my thoughts, are interested in achieving consistent profitability, hit the subscribe button and like if you wouldn't mind. That would, as I understand the algorithm for YouTube, and again, it's not my goal to be a YouTube guy or a big star, but I would really enjoy having a, a community of like-minded traders here. And as I understand it, the subscriptions and the likes contribute. You know, I guess they show the channel more, and that's how people are attracted. Whatever. So now, just looking at this, the weekly loss limit, right? So yesterday it was 664.80 loss, worst day. Only traded 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the 5th day, I guess. Or that was the 5th day. Oh no. Okay, I'm with you now. I see where we are. That's 4th day. Does that mean that I still have only $330, say, of weekly loss limit? Got to figure that one out. That is definitely requires a email or something, but in the meantime, I am going to be conservative here, and I'll stick with my 1 lot bracket. And there you have it. This is not pretty much holding to my original conversation and my premise that we're going to just get a chop fest here. And that seems to be where we're going. Right inside of value and range for 2 trading periods, you know. That's wow. That 5-minute looks pretty silly now. Talk about some wicks. Whoa. This part bothers me when the VWAPs separate, because I believe in, right now we got 10 ticks different on the VWAP. Points, I'm sorry, 10 points different between the two. And that's, I don't like. Here, yeah, same story. Jigsaw's 440 VWAP, and we're down at 31 here at our basically our level. And there's no reason in the world that VWAP should be, if both charts and everything starts at the same period for the session. VWAP is the volume weighted average price. Has nothing to do with time, except from the beginning. So if they both start at the same time and they're on the same market, which is the NQ, same contract, they should be identical always. And that irritates me that they're not. Now, they're consistently they're consistent across the charting package. But does that mean that it's right, or Jigsaw's not calculating something properly? That I don't know. Well, they moved quickly across this low volume area for yesterday. Okay, thank you so much. I'd prefer not to have me do that in the middle of the session, but anyway. Now, will it take a bounce off this VWAP like I would expect it should? Or will it respect? Where did we go? Went up. No, 41, same story. VWAP's right there on this one. On Jigsaw, that's irritating. Value area low. It's acting like the charting VWAP is accurate just by the way it's reacting, the way the price is reacting, which would indicate short time frame traders reacting to visual references. And now we're going to come up here and monkey around with POC. Wow. Look at how narrow the, what do we got here? 47, 20, 27 handles or something across the value area. Wow. So I've actually asked Tradovate via support email about this value area calculation and if I'm, wrong or something, or why it's not constant. But I haven't gotten a response back from them yet. Starting period. That's local time. 7 o'clock in my morning is when the market Globex starts now. Rolling periods, I don't know whether that matters. So they're doing a pretty good job of trading across value, aren't they? A couple of times now. Boom, boom. It's a little hard to say that's cross value. Back down to value area low, value area high. Definitely a balanced market. And the auction proceeds. Not forgetting that we still have this poor low with no tail. Another way you could say this, besides how nice a job they're doing trading back and forth across value, is that this is just a chop fest. And it's smack dab in the middle of value and range, so that's expected. Right now our cumulative delta is pretty much balanced off. Try to keep these bars bigger for the stream so that they're easier to see. But you don't get the historical perspective as much. So let's see what we have happening now. It's definitely not the place to take a trade. Smack dab in the middle of everything. Now, are they going to bounce it? Yep, a little bit. 5 points. 6 points. Maybe get 10. I was getting kind of used to those two contracts at with a little bit wider parameters there. I was kind of liking that $200-300 a whack every time I made a good trade, but then I kind of didn't like that when it went the wrong way yesterday, and I got 2 extra points of slippage, which just was irritating no end. Stop is a stop. I realize that, but I hate to pay substantial percentage more. There they go down to the bottom again. Once they get into this thin volume down here, below the current trading session and into this thin Globex volume, there's not a hell of a lot down there to stop them. I know what I can do. I can see if I change this to what if I change this to 2230, which would be the open of this session. Didn't change it a bit. Well, that's just ridiculous. How do you force it to recalculate? That's the next one. Well, that's just two kinds of stupid there. I would have expected a substantial change, and that's right where it was before. Yeah, just sitting right on 42. Well, doggone. So we got the POC sitting right on half back. The profile POC, which is right here. We're coming up on the just changing periods now. This thing looks like it's struggling over here, doesn't it? What the hell is going on? That's completely wrong. This should be B. Should be trading B profile right here. So that's something's amiss here. Something is amiss. This is when you look to Jigsaw, and it's nice and sturdy. This is just crap. Completely crap with that calculation right there. Yeah. See? That should have been the B period, and there it is. Don't like having to do that. That's annoying. I'm kind of still thinking they're going to try to run that thing down and repair that weak low. And then there's always the concept of new all-time high at 600. But I am not going to take on this all night, that's for sure. Interesting, the divergence off of the ES. ES is rocking over here, just rocking. And these boys are pretty intent on selling this thing off. There we go. They're just putting some new low down there and some excess on the tail of this thing. Yep, here we go. Here we go in those string of singles. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. They're going to keep eating that up until they get down there and repair that poor low. Sure as the world. Maybe some pullbacks, of course, but it looks like that's where they're going. Sure looks like that's where they're headed. Got that 28 keeps hanging down there around 95 level over here. The hell was that all about? Heading for that repair. The week low. Classic market profile concept. Jim Dalton, Pete Stottlemyre, JP. Yep. Yep, that was good. Could have been a good resting order right there. Maybe. It might be bringing it back. Correction of inventory there. I'm still thinking they're going to head down there and just out of curiosity and repair that low. So this is the same exact situation that I got tricked in yesterday. When I look at this, I think, aha, okay, so we've had in a bottoming profile. We got sellers. We got a little consolidation, and we're getting back into value, either to target VWAP profile or POC or value area high. But then when you scroll out, you notice that this is just a damn trading range. And it's just at the top of that channel. And that's exactly what happened to me right there. Boom, down she goes. It didn't follow through. It's just at the top of the range. So the trade would have been the short or the bottom of the trading range towards reversion to mean. See if we can get another trade or so out of this. When you notice this part here, it's a little confusing because it says number of trades 1. That's true. It says number of contracts 2, which is wrong. It's only 1, but it's 1 in and 1 out. So that number of contracts is always double what you'd really traded. In case you're looking at that and wondering why. Scooching value area down. I'd just love to get one more of those little bracket trades on there and get that couple $100 or something. And It'll make back a third of what of what it cost me yesterday to have this much fun. Part of the game. Trading is simply a business of percentages and probabilities. More precisely, probabilities. The object of the game is to take as many samples, be in the game as long as you can, and then your edge will pay out. Go through that last bit. Now we seem to have had not really. Still got pretty much within that. If somebody drew a line along there, I could probably do that, I guess. Not sure how this works, but oop, doesn't work like that. Works like that, I guess. There's your thing, right? Top of the channel, sort of. So it really hasn't broken that structure. Of course, if you look at it on a smaller view, then you've got lower or higher highs, higher lows, and higher highs, kind of. Yeah. All of that stuff is so nonsense, I think. There was the good one off of that value area low. I was too busy thinking I was clever there with the higher high story. Wow, the ES just refuses to stop going up. And this NASDAQ can't get out of its own way. Maybe there's some heavy tech earnings out that's going to be pestering the market this morning. That's a possibility, I guess. Buyers are trying. See if they can get it through VWAP and get going here. See if we can break that up. Oh, that was quick. So where are we at now? Close to VWAP. Ought to get up to that value area low. But I just am not thinking that it's just doesn't want to play along. Doesn't want to play along. For the NASDAQ to have it struggle around to get a couple of points here, that's not particularly a good idea. And we got half back over here now. 35. Consolidation, just under half back. POC dropped again. My inclination is to think long has got to happen here with such a move upwards on the ES, but NASDAQ doesn't seem to want to agree with my concept here. And this is where I get chopped up. See, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to break out of here, and I want to get on that to this next value area, or volume area, or value area high. And really, it's just a stupid little consolidating range there that's just going to eat you up. Now get up there. We're across the VWAP, and we're at getting to the top of that value area where we should get some upward movement. Get on up there now. A little bit, come on. I just can't get up to where that stop is going to come up. That trigger. And we might actually get our payday out of this. You see how our stop moved up? Come on. So we're locked in now at 5, and now we might get, there we go. There we go. So we got our 10 points plus our $10. And now it's probably going to just rip to 1,600. But again, with that drawdown yesterday and the weekly loss, weekly drawdown, I have to be extremely careful that I don't get in greedy or trapped by that. I've only got today and tomorrow, and then it resets, and I'm okay from a minimum balance point of view, no problem. But I have to find out about that, as I was saying earlier about the that weekly loss limit. And it's 2317 here. I'll watch this market till we get to the bottom of the hour. And so we're 66% win rate. We've had one losing trade and a winner. So we've got an expectancy of $70, win rate of 66%, 44 seconds. Longest winning trade time is 1:15 seconds, which is quite long. Normally for me, that's usually I'm right and the market's moving a little bit better, and it's usually 50, 60 seconds or something. So the max run up's 202 and the max drawdown was 212. Losing trade time is 4 seconds. Jesus. So there we are. The bracket came through. And that first trade was only 13 seconds for that 115. And 4 seconds on that loss, and then 1 minute 15 seconds. But that took us to the to our target rather than the jump. So us, I hate it when people do that, and I don't know why I am. I guess I feel like I'm thinking as a group. It's me. It's not us. I'm not the Queen of England. It's not we. Now, if we were trading as a group, that would be us. But it's not. It's me. So I'm going to be real cognizant of not doing that anymore. Now we've got 33 over here. 30, 430. And this one's showing us 33. Still just not happening right. And I'm really at a loss as to wonder why the heck not. Anyway, I will be happy with my $210 profit, and still got a couple grand to go. I just have to focus on this, and I've tried to reschedule some of my other appointments. Last couple of few weeks now, I've had, seems like every damn day I've got a meeting exactly at the open, which is 10:30, 22:30 my time, and 08:30 Central. Frustrating. But now we're doing okay, and this has been a positive day. I feel good about that. There was no sweat, no strain. We took our trades. We observed here we go again. I observed my rules, had the intelligence or the wherewithal or the cognizant risk management to realize that I needed to resize my trade for the weekly loss limit, even if I'm not correct on that. If it does go up with your profits, but I suspect that it probably doesn't. I think that's probably one of the little tricks they throw in there to just kind of make it a little tougher. Now we could get someplace. They get into that string of singles over there on the A's. We might get through that, run through this low volume area here from yesterday. That could be some place they're going. They haven't gotten back to the open yet. That's where we opened, of course, obviously. One of the interesting things about Top's Jigsaw this is a comment field, so you can put in different levels or values or something if you want to, like RTH or whatever you want to put, and then you can use those references when you get there. That's kind of handy. But with this kind of trading range, I'm not so focused on using the dome or just staring at it like the old days when I was more trading off the dome, more exclusively when I would have my Globex highs and lows and Globex value area high and references along here. But when you've got the charting package that works like this one, it's pretty handy. And look at this ES just ticking up. when are these boys going to get their finger out and get going? I'd love to just pile on that and watch it go breaking out of that top and pass the open and just rip right to the top side. But I also am very conscious that that may not happen. Typically, the NASDAQ does follow the ES, but its earnings and tech people are coming out, and it's following to some degree now, but previously was pretty diverged when it pulled this stuff down, and the ES has been basically moving steadily up since the open. If you got on the ES at the open, you've been golden the whole way and you never took any heat. Well, I lied, you took a little right there. So we're trying to get up here and we just can't get past these highs. Value area high has moved up. POC's moved up again, was down here. I'm still a little befuddled about what VWAP is up to. Now it says 430 and 434. It's still not right, but it's better than it was. So we have lived to trade another day. We have made a positive improvement on our equity balance. We, man, I got to stop that we crap. Just why am I doing that? The equity balance has improved. I recognized that I needed to adjust my trade size, and we also adjusted the bracket for the more of a scalp idea, which has proved to be just Jim Dandy. We had one loss of a little bit here, and 2-1. That's not so bad. I don't think this other one was. Where'd that go there? Well, have to adjust that bracket. And well, I guess optimally it's a 2-1, and with the smaller profit target. Oh, here we go. Cross that value again. So one of the things that I used to do, especially with this bracket, when I'm not busy talking and streaming, is I would have had a resting order here at that value area low with the bracket, which these kind of visual references when you have short time frame traders, and that's, you can tell that's who's trading because they are observing these time frame visual references. And institutional people don't have a clue where that is. So I'm told. I am not an institutional trader, nor have I been one. But people that have been around, Jim Dalton in particular, who definitely is the real deal. He helped set up the options trading system at the CME. He ran a couple of trading desks, global, for I don't know what outfits, which banks or whichever it was, but Jim Dalton, Mind Over Markets, etc., is very definitely the real deal. And I had the opportunity to learn from him market profile, and he very definitely categorically says this, institutional traders, they've got too big a size, they've got too big of things on their minds, they don't know where any of these visual references are, and certainly none of this, fibs and crossover and moving averages and that kind of stuff. VWAP, possibly they might know. Look at the sell-off. Oh, the ES is cracking too. Well, NASDAQ likes going down with the ES, but doesn't seem to want to go up. So I'm assuming that he's right, and I have to take him at his word. And it seems to pan out to me when you see the market start blowing through, not even thinking about some of these references, and especially when the market profile starts one time framing up or down, you can sort of tell that there's a heavier hand at play. I like trading against the short time frame traders because I am one, A, and B, I have visual references to work off of. And if you know they're going to react to them, then you can get ahead of them. Like I just pointing out, having a resting order here at just ahead of that value area low, and you had a 10-point pop. Same thing now. We've come down here to the Sigma 1 off the VWAP. It's so far there's two 10-point moves there. So we are 23.31, and I think I will be happy with my $210. I will close off the stream here. What a beautiful profile, huh? That is a perfect Gaussian distribution. Look at that. Wow. They're doing a very nice job of trading this thing right back and forth, up and down across this previous range and value. So I feel happily that I was able to be patient and think ahead to resize and reconfigure the bracket and pick a couple $100 out of the market today. Could be more, very definitely could be more, but I'm going to call it a stream. I also have to, as I said, it's 23:32 now, so my day starts about 6:30 in the morning, so I've got 6 or 7 hours here. I do other things, and I also am watching the Asia market, and there's a stream from earlier of the London and Asian close, London open. So good traders, good luck traders. I hope everything worked fine with the stream now. It appears to be so. Stream Health says good, so that's a good thing. And if you're going to continue to trade, remember your goal, your mission is to be able to trade tomorrow. Revenge trading, FOMO will not get you there. You have to maintain your risk parameters and risk management and money management, and let the P&L take care of itself, and it will. With that, safe trading, happy trading. I hope you're healthy. Wash your hands, wear a mask, be smart. have a good rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Please subscribe. Tell your friends, whatever. If you know any traders and you think that some of what I say, or we might be able to engage in a conversation that could be meaningful or add value, that would be great. It would be nice to have a dialogue and get some feedback and ideas from others, and be able to take this journey to consistent profitability as a group. Subscribe, hit the like button a million times, tell all your pals, and see you tomorrow.